289.
289, right? So we gotta take all this again now. Alright, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa ba'd. So this is we have to redo the class from Friday because the class that class got taken down due to, I'm not going to say why it got taken down because then this one starts to get flagged and then, I don't want this one. We already got a warning from YouTube, so we can't talk about certain things. So Allahumma musta'an. They're putting a leash on us, man. All right, so it's their platform, so what to do? We don't have anything that's ours. We don't have our own platforms. We don't have our own thing, so what can we do? So, I'll give everybody the G version of all the lessons, on YouTube. And then we're gonna go rated R on Telegram, inshallah, khalas. Because Telegram, they don't have those restrictions. But here they do, so now this is just gonna be, we just keep it peaceful, inshallah. All right, so try to. Because it's funny though, I sat there and told you guys to go watch that video.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the reason why the video got taken down. In fact, that video's been up for almost, like 10 years now?
Yeah, it was like 9 years ago.
9 years ago.
That's 2 likes and Ibrahim's one of them.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I sent it.
Huh?
You saw it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the stage.
And then just boom. but that video's up, no problem.
They have Saddam Hussein's execution online.
Everything, akhi, like that's
On
what I'm
YouTube.
saying. These kuffar, akhi, they're a trip, man. Anything that you talk about fasad, but don't talk about anything that's about their money. And they're gonna take it down. So but we can talk about anything. Kill this, kill that, subhanAllah. All right, 289 hadith. So we're gonna go back and do this again now. So it's not missing from the live streams. All right, so حدثنا أبو نعيم قال حدثنا داوود بن يزيد. And we talked about Dawood ibn Yazid, what? Dawood ibn Yazid is da'if. Alright, he's fi da'if. The chain of narration here is da'if. Alright, قال سمعت أبي. Alright, Yazid. يقول سمعت أبا هريرة رضي الله عنه يقول قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم تذرون ما أكثر ما يدخل النار قالوا والله ورسوله أعلم قال الأجوفان الفرج والفم وأكثر ما يدخل الجنة تقوى الله وحسن الخلق. And we talked about this hadith, so let's go over the translation first. Alright, so Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu, he reported that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, do you know what the one thing is the one thing that's going to get most of the people tossed in the hellfire, this one action that gets the majority of the people tossed in the hellfire because of this action or because of this thing? Allah, and they said, Allah and His Messenger know best. They said, Al-Ajwafan. Al-Ajwafan, here it means Al-Faraj wal-Fam. It means the private parts and the mouth, the tongue. So these are the two things that get the majority of the people thrown in the hellfire. They said, وَأَكْثَرُ مَا يُدْخِلُ الْجَنَّةِ. And the thing that gets most of the people entered into Jannah is taqwa Allahi. What do we say taqwa means?
Fearful consciousness.
Every single time I ask, you keep giving me like a similar, different answer. But not the answer, huh?
No, I'll let them answer.
It means to set up a protection, al-wiqaya, to set up a protection against the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by carrying out His commands and staying away from His prohibitions.
فعل المأمور وترك الممنوع.
Yeah, al-mahdur. Yes. So he said, taqwa Allahi, that's the first thing, and he said, wa husnul khuluq. Because taqwa Allahi, it means all of the what? The commands and carrying out the commands and staying away from the prohibitions. Husnul khuluq also has that, but it's also what? Awsa'. Because with husnul khuluq, you're carrying out the rights of the people, you're having good relations with the people, so you're also carrying out the commands and staying away from the prohibitions, but then it's also is your character and how you deal with the people. So if you carry yourself with humbleness, with modesty, and that's how you deal with the people in a humble manner, modest manner. If you're arrogant and egotistical, then how are you going to deal with the people? You deal with them the way that your character is. So the husnul khuluq, it affects everything. It affects your relationship with your Lord, and it affects your relationship with what? With the people. So it's awsar. And we said that this hadith is authentic, all right, even though this chain of narration is not. But the hadith, the asl of it is in the Sunan al-Tirmidhi, and Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu, with the wording al-Ajwafan and without the wording al-Ajwafan. All right, so both of these you'll find them in Sunan al-Tirmidhi. So the hadith is authentic. All right. We're just going to read through these because we already explained them on Friday until Allah musta'an. حدثنا عبد الله بن محمد قال حدثنا أبو عامر قال حدثنا عبد الجليل ابن عطية عن شهر عن أم درداء قالت قام أبو درداء. So here Dardāh, she's reported that Abu Dardāء رضي الله عنه قام أبو درداء ليلة يصلي. So he stood up the whole entire night praying. فجعل يبكي, and he began to cry. ويقول اللهم أحسنت خلقي فحسن خلقي. He said, "Oh Allah, you've perfected my creation," and then he's saying, "So perfect my character." Hatta asbaha. He said this dua. He kept repeating this dua until the morning came, until it came time for Fajr. When he said asbaha, it doesn't mean until the sun came up. All right, hatta asbaha, it means until the time for Fajr came in, because at the time for Fajr he's got to wrap up the salat, and now he's going to pray the rak'atayn qabla Fajr. Then he goes and prays Fajr. But once the time for Fajr comes in, khalas, the time for Qiyam al-Layl is finished. So he said, Hatta asbaha. فَقُلْتُ يَا أَبَا دَرَدَى. So his wife said to him, "O Abu Darda, مَا كَانَ دُعَاؤُكَ مُنذُ اللَّيْلَ." What is this dua that you've been making the entire night? إِلَّا فِي حُسْنُ الْخُلُقِ. She said, "You've only been asking about حُسْنُ الْخُلُقِ, nothing else." فقال يا أم درداء. And he said, "Oh أم درداء, إن العبد المسلم يحسن خلقه حتى يدخله حسن خلقه الجنة." He said that a servant of Allah, a Muslim servant of Allah, he'll perfect his character until that good character enters him into Jannah. وَيَسِيءُ خُلُقُهُ حَتَّى يُدْخِلَهُ سُوءُ خُلُقِهِ النَّارِ. So he said, and he'll have bad, horrible character and wicked character until that becomes a reason for him entering into the hellfire. Then he said, وَالْعَبْدُ الْمُسْلِمْ يُغْفَرَ لَهُ وَهُوَ نَائِمٌ. And he said, a Muslim servant of Allah, he's forgiven even while he's sleeping. Even while he's sleeping. فَقُلْتُ يَا أَبَا دَرَدَى. So she said, "O Abu Darda, كَيْفَ يُغْفَرَ لَهُ وَهُوَ نَائِمٌ." How is he forgiven while he's sleeping? And he said, قَالَ يَقُومُ أَخُوهُ مِنَ اللَّيْلِ فَيَتَهَجَّدْ فَيَدْعُ اللَّهَ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ فَيَسْتَجِيبُ لَهُ. He said his brother, and then here the akhuwa we said is the akhuwa what? Al-Akhuwat al-Islamiyya, not like his actual blood brother, but his brother in the deen. He stands up at night to pray at night, and he makes dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this person while he's sleeping. He's making dua for him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers it. وَيَدَعُوا لِأَخِيهِ فَيَسْتَجِيبُ لَهُ فِيهِ. And he makes dua for his brother, and he answers it. So he gets his dua answered for him by the brother stands up and makes dua for him while he's sleeping, and he gets forgiven while he's sleeping because of this dua. All right. And what do we say about this?
Sahih.
Sahih. Yeah, well, it's Hasan bi Shawahidi. All right, the chain of narration is kind of flippy-floppy because we got Shahra bin Hawshab. I mentioned that before. Shahra bin Hawshab is Kathir al-Irsal wa Kathir al-Awham. So Shahra bin Hawshab is a problem. But there's shawahid based on the hadith because this is the dua of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is something that he used to make dua for. And that hadith came on Aisha, and who else? No. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. Aisha wa Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. Alright. Alright, so 291. حدثنا Abu Nu'man. Alright, Abu Nu'man, Muhammad ibn Fadl, Aram, as-Sadusi. We said Aram, it means what? Well, you're going to take all that time to look it up in the notebook. I'll just say it.
No.
Adam, it means Shadid.
Yeah, Shadid.
Shadid. And he was not Adam. This was a nickname that was given to him when he was young, when he was small, and it stuck with him. All right, it stuck with him. But that's just a nickname, but it's like he was actually far, far, far from being a person who's real shadid with the people. So he said, حدثنا أبو النعمان قال حدثنا أبو عوانة وضاح بن عبد الله اليشكوري, as we mentioned before. عن زياد بن علاقة عن أسامة ابن شريك رضي الله عنه قال كنت عند النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وجاءت الأعراب ناس كثير من ها هنا وها هنا فسكت الناس. Alright, so here Usama ibn Sharik, he mentioned that they were with the Prophet ﷺ and some Bedouins. A whole bunch of Bedouins came to the Prophet from here and from there. فَسَكَتَ النَّاسِ, and the people, they remained quiet. And why did we say before that the people remained quiet?
So,
Go ahead.
النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم قال يعني ما يسألون أسئلة كثير وهكذا.
Yeah, they were prohibited from asking questions. They had to wait for the revelation to come down to get the answers, unless it was something, something, but not just to sit there and ask questions. So they used to love when the Bedouins would come with their questions, because they don't know anything about Islam, so they have to ask. So they would love to sit back and listen to these questions. So whenever the Bedouins came, they would all sit down and listen to this. All right, and this is a sunnah that was, alhamdulillah, the one place that I know of in the world that maintained this sunnah and still maintains this sunnah today is in Yemen. I don't know of any other place that maintains this sunnah, where the people, they'll come and they'll ask they have a whole list of questions. They'll come from different places around Yemen. They come to the sheikh and they ask questions. Because we don't ask the questions to sheikh, during the classes. We just sit there, we study. We have issues, we go research, or we go to other bigger students. But then you get these other people that come from different parts of Yemen, and they come and they have all these questions. So then the sheikh will, the night class will become just questions and answers. It's fun sometimes, but it can be repetitive sometimes too. And then also a lot of the times we lose a dars in Sahih Muslim because of questions. And a lot of the times I would rather have the dars. But I mean, because a lot of the questions that the people would ask would be stuff that we hear all the time. We already know it. So normally, like, it got to the point when I was like in my 3rd or 4th year in Damaj, when somebody said, well, these people that came and they have questions, bismillah, I leave the masjid. I get up and leave and go outside and read. Because it's just like, we know like the questions are just going to be repetitive. But it's to maintain the sunnah. The people that come and they ask the questions, and the people, they remain quiet and they listen to the answers. And you get it's a good experience, so we'll sit here and watch how because if you don't have that type of experience with an alim, you don't see how he handles these types of questions, how he sits down and how he answers, and how he deals with the people. But like I said, every single day, throughout the whole year, 2 years, 3 years, and you're like, okay, I'm going home. But if you go to like Saudi, you'll probably never see anything like that. So it's like Allah Mustaan. And most of the times the people, they ask the ulama questions like in special circumstances. But like during the classes and things like that, it's very rare. All right. So he said, فَسَكَتَ النَّاسَ لَا يَتَكَلَّمُونَ غَيْرَهُم. Nobody else spoke except for the Bedouins. فَقَالُوا يَا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ, O Messenger of Allah, عَلَيْنَا حَرَجٌ فِي كَذَا وَكَذَا. And what is the meaning of haraj here? Is there any sin for us to do this, to do that? So they're asking, فِي أَشْيَاءَ مِنْ أَمُورِ النَّاسِ. And he is asking about things in regards to people, and dealings with the people, and saying things about the people. He said, لَا بَأْسَ بِهَا. There's no harm in it. فَقَالَ يَا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ. No, he said this is part of the question. فِي أَشْيَاءَ مِنْ أَمُورِ النَّاسِ لَا بَأْسَ بِهَا. So they're asking they're asking about things in regards to the people that there's no harm. It doesn't bring any physical harm, to them. So, Ya ibadallah. So the Prophet ﷺ said, O servants of Allah, وَضَعَ اللَّهُ الْحَرَجِ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed away from you the itham. إِلَّا إِمْرَانٍ. Except for, there's no itham in any of these things, except for what? إِلَّا إِمْرَانٍ اِقْتَرَضَ. What do we say iqtarada means?
Borrowed.
No, you weren't here on Friday. But that's exactly the type of answer they gave on Friday, and it was wrong. Huh? He said, ba'uda. I guess somebody didn't take notes, huh? Where was your notebook on Friday?
No, I had it.
You had it.
Except for that one, I thought I was going to.
Iqtarada means qata'a. So what does it mean here? What are they cutting? They're cutting up the back of the person with ghiba. So اقترض, it means اغتاب. To speak about a person behind his back. And the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned al-ghiba في الحديث. What did he say? He said, ذكرك أخاك بما what? بما يكره. So you're mentioning something about a brother that he hates to be mentioned about him. And then the Sahaba, they asked the Prophet ﷺ, he said, إن كان في أخي ما أقوله. You know, if this is true about him though, you know, like for example, let's say that you're saying, man, he's stupid. And obviously he would hate for somebody to mention that he's stupid, right? But it's true. He is stupid, right? So is this still ghiba?
Yes.
Yeah, because there's no benefit. There's no benefit in why are you mentioning him being stupid? It's not something like you can, you know, it's not like even a characteristic that you could describe a person with. Go over there, you see the guy in the blue shirt, but there's two guys in the blue shirt. The stupid one. You know, it's not, you know, you're never going to describe a person like this, right? So in any case, it's not, it's not, this will fall in the guys of ghiba. So he said, إن كان فيه ما تقول فقد اغتبته وإن لم يكن فيه ما تقول فقد بحته. So buhtan is a slandering. He said, if it's true what you're saying about him, then you've backbitten him. All right, but if it's not true and you're saying something that's not true about him, then you've slandered him. Slandered him, which is worse, a worse sin. All right. Then, if you're doing it with the purpose of spreading fitna, then it becomes what? No. If you're spreading speech from one person to another person with the man, she's a grandma, and you're picking her up like she's a little kitten, man.
I have one hand.
All right. Oh, what is it? If you're spreading a speech from one person to another person with the sole intention of causing fitna between them. Check the chat. If you guys are like deer in headlights, maybe they're not.
Only like 11 people.
It's called a namima.
Oh, yeah, namima,
Yeah.
That is full of Namam.
Yes, namam. All right, so namima is spreading gossip from one person. It doesn't even have to be gossip. It's just spreading something. The person told you something, and and he basically trusted you with what he was saying to you. He didn't expect for you to go tell the other person, but you go and you take that speech that he told you and you break the trust and you go tell this other person because you want to cause problems between them. So here it's not gossip. Gossip is qila wa qala. Qila wa qala. He said, she said, he said, she said, without doing any type of tathabbut. But this is something that a person said to you. He said this to you, but he said this to you in confidence. And then you broke that confidence, you broke that trust, and you went to go spread it. And this is from the kaba'ir. And this causes a person to be punished in the grave. You know, because the Prophet ﷺ, when he went and he broke the stick in two and put them on the graves, you know, and they said, why did you do this? He said, فَإِنَّهُمْ لَا يُعَذَّبَانِ وَلَا يُعَذَّبَانِ مِنْ كَبِيرٍ. You know, and he said that these two they're being punished in their graves, but they're not being punished in their graves for something big. What does this mean? If they're being punished, so that means they're not being punished for a major sin. Because we know that a person, if he's punished in his grave, then that means he committed a major sin, right? Mm-hmm. But he said, لَا يُعَذَّبَانِ بِكَبِيرٍ أو فِي كَبِيرٍ.
They didn't see it as something big.
As something that they didn't see as something big. They didn't see it as something big, وَلَكِنْ هُوَ كَبِيرٌ. And because it came in another narration of the hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said, بَلْ هُوَ كَبِيرٌ. Or, you know, he said, no, nay, it was big. It was a major sin. So the first person, what? كَانَ يَمْشِي فِي النَّمِيمَةِ. That he used to take the speech from the people and take it to other people with the whole purpose of causing fasad between them, corruption and problems between them. And the other person, what? What was the other person?
He didn't used to clean himself after.
No, he cleaned himself. He didn't say that he didn't clean. Did not say he didn't clean himself. Did not say anything about al-istinja. He said, كَانَ لَا يَسْتَتِرُ مِنْ بَوْلِهِ. That he wouldn't protect himself from his urine, like he would just urinate and wasn't concerned if the urine hit him or got on his clothes, so he didn't protect himself from the urine. So this is so he ended up getting punished in the grave. All right, and then when they asked the Prophet ﷺ why he put the 2 sticks on the grave, what did he say? What was the reasoning that he said?
Like perhaps Allah would not punish them.
Say it in Arabic.
I don't remember it.
لعله يخفف عنهما ما لم ييبسا. He said that, I hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will lighten their punishment in the grave as long as it hasn't dried up. Once it dries up, then obviously they go back to the state that they were in before. All right. So he said after this, so اقترض امرأ and اغتابه ظلما, and obviously it's dhulm, it's oppression. فذاك الذي حرج وحلك. He said, this is the person who's done this. This is the person who's committed a sin, and he's destroyed. All right, now here's where we got to be careful. قالوا يا رسول الله أنا تداوى. And yes, you should follow your doctor's advice, and whatever medicine your doctor tells you to take, you should take it.
Wink.
All right. قال نعم يا عباد الله تداووا. So he said, should we take medicine? Because again, we talked about this before. This goes into the masala of a person who doesn't want to take medicine because he says, I want to put my trust in Allah. And another person who says, no, I'm going to take medicine and still put my trust in Allah. Then you got a third person who puts his trust in the medicine and thinks that the medicine. So obviously the third person is committing shirk. Second person, he's still putting his trust in Allah, but he's going with the asbab, And the first person, obviously this is a person that has that type of trust that Allah will cure me, and this is his choice. All right. So he said, فإن الله عز وجل لم يضع داء إلا وضع له شفاء. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not placed any sickness in the earth except that He's placed with it its cure. غير داء واحد, except for one sickness, one ailment. قالوا وما هو يا رسول الله? What is that one ailment, O Messenger of Allah? And he said al-haram. Al-haram, it means what?
Dying from old age.
Yeah, to become old and decrepit. All right, it's not the death, but it's just you can't stop old age.
Just aging.
Yeah, just aging period. Yeah, your body, as long as you live, if you live 80, 90 years, your body's going to break down. It doesn't matter. You can take care of your body and you'll be better than another 80, 90-year-old, but you're not going to be 20 years old no more. It's over for you. You know what I'm saying? So this is just the reality. What did Ibn Waradi say? Safe. أنفقت صفوتك في أيامك الأولي. He said, but what did he say in the first part? He said, oh yeah. Come on, man, you're memorizing the poem. You gotta help me out here. اعتزل الأغاني والغزل وقول الحق وجانب من حزل وداعي الأيام الصبا فإن وداعي ذكر أيام الصبا فإن أيام الصبا لأيام الصبا فإن أيام الصبا نجم أفل. What do you say it then? Come on. Alright, what's the first line mean? اعتزل ذكراء الأغاني والغزل وقول الحق وجانب من حزل. What does that mean? اعتزل, it means stay completely far away from it. Al-Aghani, what does it mean? No, it does not mean music. This is a problem with a lot of the people that taught this book, that they keep saying Al-Aghani because Al-I'tizal is ma'anas. You don't say I'tazal shay min al-af'al. No, Al-Aghani is a young, beautiful women. I'tazal Aghani wa ghazal. Al-ghazal, it means flirting with the young girls. So he's saying stay away from these girls and stay away from flirting with them because they're going to cause you problems. He said, وَقُولِ الْحَقِّ وَجَانِبْ مَنْ حَزَلْ. قُولِ الْحَقِّ, it means what? Say the truth, speak the truth. Even if it's against yourself. And the truth, obviously, Quran and Sunnah. Because he's advising his son to remain thabit ala deen. He said, وَجَانِبْ مَنْ حَزَلْ. What? Stay away from like clownish people. People who take life as a joke. People who just all they want to do is sit around and joke all the time. You know, because they're just going to end up wasting your time. See, the girls are going to get you in trouble, and the fools are going to waste your time. And generally, the person who's with one of these is always with the other. You notice that. So the person who spends all this time trying to go after the girls, he's always going to have companions that are what? That are complete buffoons and idiots that waste his time. You know, and opposite for opposite, you know. So after that, what did he say? وَدَعِي ذِكْرَ لِأَيَّامِ الصِّبَاءِ. What does that mean? This is for the old man here. This is for Mr. Harim. Huh? Yeah, forget all this, like, you know, you sitting there thinking about when you were a kid and when you were young. You said, فَلِأَيَّامِ what? فَلِأَيَّامِ الصِّبَاءِ نَجْمٌ أَفَلْ. It's a star that's falling out the sky. It's gone. It's done. You know, you sitting here trying to think about, like, oh, trying to relive. You know, like a lot of the people now, you know, that got older, and now they want to go back and buy this, like the toys and all the stuff that they had in their youth, and they want to, you know, they make these rooms in their houses with all these like Transformer toys and Voltron and all this type of stuff from like the 70s and 80s because that's marad, sickness, man. Because the thing is because they're so disillusioned and so how can I say this, like what's the word I'm looking for? Al-Ka'ib. Like they're depressed about their lives now, that they don't like their lives so much that they have to go back to a time when they were happy, and they try to relive that again. That's what he said, and he said najmun afal. It's gone, man. It's falling out the sky. That najm is never coming back. Once the najm goes out, you say najm afal. You know, it's gone. It never comes back again. Another one will take its place, but that one is never coming back. It's over. Yeah, and it burns out. It's gone. It falls out the sky and it's over. All right. So then after that, what did he say? Huh? وَإِنَّ أَحْنَا الْعَيْشِ قَضَيْتَهَا. What? That's what I thought I just said. Isn't that? Again. No. إِنَّ أَحْنَا الْعَيْشِ قَضَيْتَهَا. Huh? Okay. إِنَّ أَحْنَا الْعَيْشٍ قَضَيْتَهَا. So he said the best of all lives, you know, he said what? The easiest and the easygoing life, قَضَيْتَهَا. It's over. You've already spent that. See, when you're a child and you have, you know, no responsibilities and you have ease and parents are getting everything for you, you say, قَضَيْتَهَا خلاص. So you trying to relive that again and try to be like a fool? Try to live like comfortably and relax and like you're a child again? He said, no. They said that you spent that. It's over. ذهبت لذتها وإثم حل. He said all the ladhat, all the fun that you used to experience in your childhood, that's gone. He said now you got the ithm. Now if you take on that same type of careless behavior and carefree behavior, what? He said, well, ithm hal. He said, now you're accountable. Now you're being held accountable for this. So he said, you can't live like this anymore. You can't live like when you were a kid, because now you're you know, everything that you do wrong, you're gonna be held accountable for it. Huh? All right, but I mean, one of the lines that he mentioned, he said, أنفقت صفوتك في أيامك الأولي. He said that you've already spent all your pureness. في أيامك الأول. In your first days. He said, that's done, dude. You're old now. Get it together. Start acting mature. Start taking, being accountable. Start being responsible. Because you're like, could you imagine getting to like 30, 40 years old and you're still blaming other people for your problems? You know, but I mean, this is what the society breeds, akhi wallahi. The society breeds people like this. This is what it encourages. It encourages you to blame other people for your problems. Nah, akhi. If you're saying that other people are the reason for the way that you live, and you don't have money because of other people, akhi, that's shirk billah. You understand that? That you're saying that other people, they control your life and you control your means. Akhi, what are you, worshiping them? You don't give any other person. No human being has that control. The only one that has that control over your life is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took something away from you or made things difficult for you, then look at your sins, akhi. Take accountability for your own actions. But this whole victim mentality of, blaming other people, akhi, that's done, man. You're not a child anymore. You know what I'm saying? All of us now, we're grown men. You're getting there. No, but I'm saying he's got balagh, khalas. His hisab is open. His account is open. So, khalas, man, you know, those days are done, man. You stop playing with Transformers, man, and start, you know, I don't know. I'm just saying, you get these dumb people out here, they sit around just collecting stuff from their childhood, man.
Pokemon cards.
Huh?
Pokemon cards.
Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels. Oh, that's your thing.
Not me. That's just what I see people do.
Yeah.
There's one guy
I always hated Pokemon.
I worked for his house. He was like 60 years old.
He's a lot.
In his garage. He got a whole freaking wall of Hot Wheels and Lego cars and miniature race guys. I'm like, you're a grown man.
60 years old.
Look about it. Like, I mean,
SubhanAllah.
head full of white hair.
There you go. 60 years old and still playing with Hot Wheels. You have a question?
No.
Oh. All right. So al-haram, old age, decrepit old age. قالوا يا رسول الله ما خير ما أعطي الإنسان. And he said, and then they said they asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, O Messenger of Allah, what is the best thing that a person is and people have been given? قال خلق حسن. He said, you know, perfect, good character, good character. And this hadith is sahih. That's where we stop, right?
Yes.
That's where we'll stop today, inshallah. Any questions before Sharia?
Your spot now.
She's probably trying to annoy you to get you out the chair so she can take the
I was on
chair.
my way to the mission, and I left like the area, almost the area where I live at, and then I see Abdul Malik turning this big old truck. I said, "Is that him?" And I seen the sticker he has on there earlier. That's him. That I called him right after.
What?
His son, he says, if he is praying in Jama'ah and he intends to start praying again, but he doesn't raise his hands from fear of people or distract, did he commit shirk? Is his prayer valid if he starts again?
If he doesn't do what now?
But he doesn't raise his hands from fear of people or distract.
Raising the hands in the salat. Raising the hands is sunnah. It doesn't invalidate your salat. But to leave off the sunnah because of fear of the people, you need to fear Allah. It doesn't fall in, inshallah, it doesn't fall into the guys that like you committing shirk. But you're leaving off the sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam out of fear of people. It's not good. That's definitely not good for you. So you should never ever leave off, you know, anything from the sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam just out of fear. I mean, if there's like real fear, I'm talking about like, okay, I remember when I was when I lived in Los Angeles in 2000, there's a masjid in Watts. It's not a masjid, I call it a temple, but it's a Shia, you know, they're Rafidis. So, but one of the brothers told me, he said, if you ever happen to go in that masjid and pray, he said, don't put up a sutra when you're praying, because they're just gonna come and kick it over. And you know, I'm young. I'm like, man, I'll pick it back up. They said, if you pick it back up, they're gonna knock you out in the salat. You know, they hate the people of the sunnah. You know, this is like people who actually they're gonna take it to violence. There's an actual fear here. You know, like a real valid fear. But you're talking about fear of what? A fear of what? People saying something to you? People looking at you funny or strange? Nah, man, we don't leave nothing off for that. If there's I can understand if there's a valid fear, like, you know, you raising your hands and the people are going to just jump you after the salat if you raise your hands. Or if you say Ameen, and you're going to get like a Hanafi beat down or something like that. Yeah, but I mean, just people looking at you funny or talking about you, you should never ever leave the sunnah off for those types of purposes, unless it's a valid fear. Yeah.
Faris says, what do you say to a Muslim that makes an excuse for another Muslim that doesn't pray by saying this is what Allah has written for him?
No. That's using al-qadr, al-hujj bil-qadr. Again, we just talked about it now. This person, he's mukallaf. He's responsible for his actions. There's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for a person who says that he's a Muslim and he doesn't pray. There's no excuse. You can't make an excuse for a person like that. There is no excuse. If there was an excuse, it wouldn't take him out of Islam, would it? So there is no excuse. And, you can't make an excuse for a person like that. And then you shouldn't even try to. I'm making an excuse for somebody for not fasting on Mondays and Thursdays, making an excuse for a person who maybe can't make it to the masjid for every single salat, or making excuses for brothers like that, yeah. But making an excuse for somebody who doesn't pray? Nah, man, please, no. You might as well make excuses for the person that robbed you. Oh, he really needed the money, so he robbed me,
An excuse someone who just walks up and slaps you across the face at the gas station. Oh, this is what Allah ran for.
But yeah, but as far as like this using the qadr as a hujjah, or no, this is from the qadariyah of aqidah. It's not permissible. It's not from our deen, it's not from our aqidah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wrote it, but that doesn't mean that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with it. So you got to understand that there's two types of, the qadr, it goes back to two things. There's things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wrote and that He's pleased with. And these are what you call a shar'iyyah. The shar'iyyah means like what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He wrote that the people become Muslim. He wrote that you become Muslim. He wrote that you pray. He wrote that you fast. He wrote that you obey Him and you stay away from His prohibitions. These are things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wrote for you and He likes and He's pleased with. So this is a shar'iyyah. And then you have a kawniyah, which are things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wrote.
In the universe.
Yeah, He wrote them, but He's not pleased with them. So He wrote, the creation of shaitan. He wrote that this person's not going to pray, or this person's not going to accept Islam. He wrote that Abu Talib didn't accept Islam, that he died as a mushrik kafir on his deathbed. He wrote that, but He's not pleased with it. And He wrote all the sins. So these are things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala He preordained as a fitna for the people, but it doesn't mean that He's pleased with them. So you can't make excuses for a person who disobeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The only disobedience, the only thing that you can make an excuse for a person for is what?
I'm sorry, can you say it again?
The only excuse that you can make an excuse for a person is if he's ignorant. But if he's not ignorant of the fact that he's not praying, he knows that this is an obligation upon him, there's no excuse for him. He knows this. You can't make an excuse for a person that knows. You can make an excuse for a person. A person just became Muslim, 3 months ago, and he's stopped praying. And we sit down with him and we advise him.
Maybe he thinks it's sunnah to pray. Maybe he doesn't know.
Maybe this guy that doesn't pray told him it's not wajib or something. Who knows? But
maybe
the point
the translator told him you don't have to.
Come on, stop the person.
Someone like that, do they need to retake the shahada?
Huh?
Do they need to retake shahada?
No, make tawbah. If you've done anything from the nawaqid of Islam, something that takes you out of Islam, there's no such thing as retaking your shahada. You've already taken the shahada. Khalas.
People take 100 times a day.
No, you don't. You make tawbah. Khalas, that's it.
I seen someone online that said they wanted to, they felt like they weren't like being a good Muslim, so they're like, yeah, I want to retake my shahada when I want to start practicing better.
Practice better. Wake up the next day and start doing things and make tawbah. That's what tawbah's for. Tawbah is for that. That is.
Because they think that if they retake their shahada, it's going to wipe all their
No, it's done. It's over. Khalas. That's only one time, man. Yeah, once you've entered into Islam, that's it. It's done. You're not going to get your sins forgiven a second time. You can. There's other ways to get your sins forgiven. Go and complete Hajj and do Hajj and get in a Hajj that's accepted. That gets all your sins wiped out. Tawbah, if you make sincere Tawbah, it gets those sins wiped out. But you can, huh?
How'd you even make your sins, or does that refer
all this? Hajj mabrur. It's all the sins. Allah knows best.
How can a woman have courage, but not brave like a man?
You shouldn't be brave like a man, anyways. What type of courage are you trying to have?
Shuja'a. No, that's bravery.
Courage is an issue of the heart. So this goes back to how the person was raised up. So if you were raised up by a mother that was scared of everything, don't touch this, don't do this, don't do this, and you're gonna pretty much grow up like scared of everything. You understand? And you were raised up with like my kids. They were raised up in a Somali household where they're throwing them up to the roof and catching them. My kids, they grew up, they weren't afraid of nothing. They're jumping all over the place. Yeah, so it's how you raise the kids up. It's how you raise the kids up, and that's tawfiq from Allah. But that's all an affair of the heart. That's not something, you know. And a woman being brave, like what is courageous? That sounds kind of, I don't know, man. That sounds too feminist to me, man. Isn't that what the feminists try to get the women? Ladies, be brave. You know, burn your bras. You know.
A lot of the guys would be like, yeah, do that.
Huh?
A lot of the guys would be like, yeah, listen to what they're
Be
saying.
brave.
Do anything.
Yeah, but how's that working out for them though? SubhanAllah.
Pleasing the patriarchy.
Huh?
Pleasing the patriarchy.
It's not working out too well for them right now, is it?
Like, when they said about courage, like being able to have the courage to forbid evil.
Oh, to stand up against.
Like to do amr al-ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar.
I mean, you just gotta do it. You just gotta do it. If you see it, I mean, you gotta understand. Like, I mean, especially if you're the person, you know, alhamdulillah, person. I mean, that's what made us the khayra ummah. You know, kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat lin-nasi ta'muruna bil-ma'ruf wa tanhawna 'anil munkari wa tu'minuna billah. That's what made this ummah the best of all ummahs, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, you know, you were the best of all ummah, you know, the best of all nations that came out to the people. And the first characteristic that he said, what? Ta'muruna bil ma'ruf, that you command the good. Wa tanhawna 'anil munkari, and you forbid the evil. You warn the people against the evil. Wa tu'minuna billah, and you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, so that's a characteristic of this ummah. You know, so you practicing the Quran and the Sunnah, inshallah, and making isti'ana billah, inshallah, it will strengthen your heart, inshallah.
If a woman fears showing other than her face and hands in front of some of her mahrams may cause fitna, is it permissible for her to show it?
If she's afraid of fitna, no, she should avoid showing it.
She should avoid showing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen situations like, for example, like my wife, she had a brother. Like, cause my mother's father, my wife's father, Allah yarhamu, he got married. Like, he grew up in Somalia. He's Yemeni, but he grew up in Somalia, and he just got married so many times, right? So he had children that the family doesn't even know about. So sometimes the guy will come, this is her brother, you know, this is my wife's brother, but he's sick, actually. He's a sick individual, you know, he spends all his time watching, and because they didn't grow up together, he doesn't, you know, so you keep him away from her, you know. You keep, like, she would, you know, stay around, like, basically stay clothed and everything around him, just like she would anybody else that's strange. She would stay away from him, you know, because there's a fitna, and any type of fitna you avoid it. Even just because the person's in the family doesn't mean the person's sick. The heart's not sick. You got some sick people, dude. You got some sick individuals, and the people that, you know, because you don't know what people are doing when the sun's down and the people are asleep. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, a lot of the stuff that people are involved in nowadays, actually, some sick stuff.
Okay.
You think that their heart's going to be salim? No, man, you keep your daughters away from people like that. Even if they're, you know, cousins, cousins, aslan is not a mahram. But, you know, uncles or anybody that would be a mahram for her that you know there could be some type of fitna like that. She keep the girls away from her completely. She shouldn't remain covered. She should remain hidden from him. But if he is around her, then she should stay covered. Allah knows best.
Okay. Iron Mike says, is lying about CV experience in the IT industry permissible?
No lying is permissible. Y'all stop asking me. If you said lying is not permissible. Ever. There's no way that a lie becomes permissible. The Prophet ﷺ, when he talked about Ibrahim and the three lies, those are not lies. That's tawriya. Tawriya, it means that you tell the truth in a way that you make the person think something different. You know, so like if your wife comes up to you and she says, "How does this dress look?" And you say, "It's beautiful." But your intention is beautiful for you, for somebody, you know, not for me. I hate it. But you don't want to make her feel bad. It's not lying. It's what they call prevarication or tawriya. Tawriya is like you're saying a part of the truth to make the person think. And I gave you this example before. Like, for example, I told y'all, I believe I told you, gave this example before. Like, if you have the police, they're looking for your friend, and you know that your friend is innocent. Because if your friend is not innocent, then it's not permissible for you to hide a criminal. What's the hadith?
Man awa muhdithan.
Man awa muhdithan. And what's the punishment for this person?
That he's cursed.
He's cursed. A person who hides a criminal. And of course, some of the ulama, they say muhdithan, because muhdith can also mean a person of bid'ah, because the people of bid'ah, the people of innovation, to give them refuge and to help them, they're the biggest of the mujrimeen. They're the biggest criminals. But if you know a person's committed a crime and he's fleeing from the punishment, it's not permissible for you to give him refuge and give him protection. And obviously, as Muslims, we don't snitch on a Muslim to the kuffar, but we also don't give him refuge because he's a criminal. If you know that he's done whatever it is that he's done. But let's just assume, hypothetically, that the person did not do it, and you know he didn't do it, but the police are trying to, oppress him. So he's hiding in your attic or your basement or something like this, and the police come to you and they say, "Is Ahmed here?" And you say, "La, Ahmed is not here," and he's not here. And it's say, "Wallah, wallahi, billahi, tallahi, Ahmed is not here." But your intentions is what? He's not here, not here, but he is there. So this is called tawriyah. You're not lying. But this has to have a maslahah. You can't do this just for anything. You can't do this for your boss. I've seen this one thing on social media where a guy, he put a branch on his tree and he called the boss up and said, "Man, a tree fell on my car. I can't come in today." And I was like, nah, this is lying, actually. This is not the part of tawriyah that's permissible. It has to be a maslahah. It has to bring, has some form of protection, or like there has to be some benefit. Not just for you to be lazy and not do what you're supposed to do.
What if it's for your own protection? So like,
That's a maslahah.
it's because one of my friends, they used to own a story, like where it's really dangerous area, and so they had gangsters in the same hood, and they would have the gangsters' kids run from the police, and they would hide inside that store. But if they snitch on them, then those gangsters, like the parents, would definitely hide on the owners. So I think they could.
I mean, if it's for your protection, it's a maslahah.
Because they used to lie to the police.
Like, let's say that, for example, your friend calls you up. He has a big issue. And, but your wife hates this guy. And every time that she knows that you're with him, because he's a loser, right? But, because you grew up together, maybe you have like this softness in your heart for this person, but the dude's a loser, right? And your wife, and women, they see that and they want you to stay away from the loser, right? Because he causes problems. So that if your wife finds out that you're with him, but he needs your help. So what do you tell him? You say, "Look, man, akhi, okay, look, I'll sit down and talk with you and I'll help you. Meet me at the masjid for Maghrib." Right? So you go to the masjid, you pray Maghrib, you sit down with him and you deal with his issues, you pray Isha, you go home. And your wife says, "Where were you at?" "I was in the masjid." You know what I'm saying? "Who were you with?" "I was with the musallin." I was with all the people praying. So there you go. So, I mean, like things like that where there's a maslahah, but it's just not pure lying. Not just because, like, for example, like you're actually out with another girl, and then you're out at a coffee shop, and then you say, "Well, where were you at?" "Oh, I was with a friend drinking coffee." No, that's a lie. That's completely like, because you're covering up sins. That's a whole different thing. Yeah.
That'll be this.
That'd be a whole bunch of things. Lying, khida' al-ghish, everything, man. Huh? Oh, what's your question? I forgot. Now you got to get online and ask your question, man.
Okay. If somebody applies perfume that has alcohol on them, but they didn't know that it had alcohol until after they applied it with their still be accepted.
Inshallah. Inshallah, that's not one of the things. Yeah, inshallah khair.
So when you have perfume that has alcohol in it, you can spray it on your clothes.
It's better to keep it off your skin because the skin absorbs the alcohol, but you're not actually drinking it. The skin might absorb it, but it's not. You're not drinking it, so it's not the same. Inshallah, it's not the same as You know, like these jokers. Bismillah, and he drinks alcohol. Yeah, you got people like that out here.
Some of them they do is they mock the deen. They say, is it permissible to eat pork if I say Bismillah? That's just straight kufr. A brother asks, where do I need to be considered within Masjid al-Haram? Is it in the building itself, the surrounding area? Some hotels even have speakers within them for people to pray in the hotel. Why is it called Masjid al-Haram?
Man, come on, man. Stop your personal agenda.
It's funny because no one is allowed.
Yeah, as long as those, as far as like what he wants the salat in the masjid.
Like
He wants the ajr for the salat. Is that what he's asking about?
That's the second part of the question. But the question is like, what is considered Masjid al-Haram? Like, what's the distance?
But for what purpose? That's what I'm saying. Are you talking about the ajr for the salat, or are you talking about the issue of not, not cutting down the trees and not, scaring the wildlife and not doing these types of things? Which aspect?
Both.
And that the aspect of the cutting down the tree, that's all of Mecca. That's all of it's haram. But as far as the salat itself is, you have to be in the salat, connected to wherever the sufuf are.
What about if you do in your hotel?
No, because you're not connected to the sufuf. Yeah. You're not praying in the masjid. You're not praying in your hotel. But if you're praying on the outskirt, the outside of the street, because there's too many people, and khalas. But you're still praying, inshallah. You still get the reward for it.
Our Mike says a Muslim brother committed zina with a non-Muslim woman in America. Now they have a kid. Does the Muslim brother have to provide for any of them or have any obligations in this scenario?
Islamically, no. Because the child of fornication goes back to the mother. It's the mother's child. It's not his. So he has no obligations towards it because he doesn't know. If he fornicated with her, she might have fornicated with somebody else. He can't be 100% sure he's the father regardless. If he is 100% sure, like he knows for sure, like, because sometimes you get these dudes, they live with the girl, It's like his wife, but then, but still, she fornicated with you, she could fornicate with anybody. So you can't be 100% sure it's your child. If you want to support the child, it's your business, but you don't have to. But then you got the other issue. If you're in America and the courts make you do that, then that's a different story. Because if you don't pay that child support, then they take away your passport, take away everything. So put you in jail.
If the child's a female, he can't be around her.
No, he can't. When she grows up, no. It has nothing to do with her life. She's nothing to do with him, and he has nothing to do with her. Yeah. So you see, the people blaming the men for the absence of fathers nowadays is actually wrong, because it's not the man just fornicated with this girl, got her pregnant, and left her just like because it's not his baby anyway, it's hers. So the women need to hold themselves to account and keep their legs closed, period. Take accountability for your own self and respect your own self. You want to sit there and fornicate, this is what happens. This is what you see in the society, the results of fornication. Keep your legs closed except for the man that you marry. Of course, simple. If you're so interested in the person, go marry him. Easy.
What should he do? What should he do, and to what extent should he maintain ties and communication with his non-mahram, non-Muslim woman?
He can't maintain any ties with her. We're talking about the girl, the woman that he fornicated with.
Yes.
It's not permissible for him to talk to her at all.
They could do it again?
No. Khalas. Nothing's permissible. Even if it's his ex-wife, he's not allowed to just sit there and chit-chat with her. Some type of dorora comes up, but if he gets married again and his ex-wife needs something, she could talk to his new wife. There's no reason for him, because he's not a mahram for her anymore once they get divorced. But this is fornication. He was never a mahram for her. Never. So it's not permissible for him to have any association with her. Nothing.
Driving slave says if a woman feels uncomfortable praying when she's outside in the south, can she pray inside the car while traveling?
When she feels comfortable, she praying what?
Praying in the south, outside in the south.
In the South.
In the south.
Like the South of America.
It just says in the south.
In the South.
Maybe the south. Yeah. Can she pray inside the car while traveling?
No, because if you have the means, the Prophet ﷺ always used to get off the animal and pray. Salawat al-Maktuba. You can pray the other salawat, the nawafil, and the sunnah, you can pray them seated in the car. But no, Salat al-Maktuba, you have to pray it in an appropriate way. Find a place that's safe. You know, I don't know what she where she's at or where he's at. Or is this a man or a woman?
A woman. It says if a woman feels uncomfortable.
Shouldn't be traveling around by herself in the first place. That's number one. And number two, if she's traveling and she's got a man, you got rest stops. You got places like this, you know. You pray. I mean, if you stop your car in the middle like of a highway and get out and pray, yes, it's dangerous, but nobody's gonna pay attention to you. Nobody's concerned. What are they doing? And people going like 70, 80 miles per hour. Ain't nobody concerned with you praying. So, yeah.
What about on,
No, this guy is 100 and, man,
170.
he pushed the car until it starts shaking, I think.
I know once I get past 90, it's so slow to accelerate past 90.
And it starts,
Yeah.
yeah.
like, stop.
Because you hit the factory settings, I
I
think.
can't take it anymore.
Even though the car says that it goes to 100 and whatever, but it's already set like at 90, it's gonna start letting you know, slow down.
One time I was driving my dad's car so fast, the literal dasher said, slow down.
How do you pray if you're on a plane? For a very, very long
I mean, you got no choice because you can't just stand up in the middle of the aisles and pray. You know, it depends on what type of plane you're on. If you're on a Saudi Airlines plane where they got an actual prayer area, you go pray. But if you're like on Delta or something like that, you just pray in your seat.
Qatar Airlines, they also have Musalla.
Yeah, I mean, most of the like Emirates, Qatar, Bahrain,
Except for Turkish.
Saudi.
Yeah.
Even Turkish Airlines, they don't have Musalla.
Turkish Airlines is like Turkish Airlines, you better off on Delta, akhi. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I would never.
I asked Turkish Airlines if they had a prayer room, and they said, yeah, they do, and then they just never.
Yeah, they have a prayer room in Turkey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Turkish Airlines is like a step up from Spirit Airlines. You know, it's just a step up. The only thing that's going to be the difference between Turkish Airlines and Spirit Airlines is Turkish, you're going to definitely get a lot less stupid people. Like Spirit Airlines is like, yeah.
Jimbos.
Yeah, you're just going to get the chances of getting something that you can record and put on the social media on Spirit Airlines is definitely a lot higher than on Turkish Airlines, yeah. No, we're never going on Turkish Airlines this year.
Their food is. No. Is my salah
No,
valid?
Turkey, the food's good.
Yeah, Turkey. The
But
food
not
is
Turkey.
great. No, not Turkish. It tastes like.
Hardcore.
I challenge you. You
It
go
tastes
to
like wood.
If you're hungry, it tastes good.
No, not even that. Like the one thing that did taste good was the little chocolate cake they give you.
Yeah, but
Other than that, yeah,
yeah, but Turkey, no, dude. You go to Turkey, talking about, man, we're gonna leave the dunya behind us, and we're gonna focus on the akhirah. You go to one Turkish restaurant, phew, you're gonna forget the deen, I see.
What?
Nah, their food's good, man.
even the ice cream is amazing.
Why did he say that?
Ben and Jerry's, Food Mac.
Yeah, you gotta pick. Look, man. Let me be very clear. We have not eaten since this morning, and I'm just trying to get through this class. Because anything that you say right now, that's what we're gonna leave here and go get. Huh?
Creamy Delight, ice cream for everyone here.
Manhattan.
Then
Turkish.
No, like the creamy.
Take advantage of it.
I'm going the Turkish and spices.
The creamy delight is good, but it's just every time that I ate it, maybe it's because they give me too much. I get sick every single time.
Sweating, eating ice cream.
I can't. Smoothies are for my sister. I
Oh yeah, Turkish drinks.
Smoothies. I mean, I grew up in the 90s and the 80s, man, where smoothies were like girls on a diet, you know?
What about
Still
energy
is.
booster?
Huh?
Energy booster, slushy.
He's chilling.
I don't ever take that energy drink ever, man.
It's natural. They use, it's not, it's, what they use.
I have never, like, only one time I tasted it, shark or whatever it
Oh,
was.
at Cream Delight.
Huh?
The one at Cream Delight.
Oh, no, okay, twice I tasted it. But, like, no, in Yemen, like, somebody had it, and I said, let me just taste this. I tasted it, like, Aki, come on, that's the nastiest stuff. I like, it tastes like alcohol, man. Like, what are you drinking that for? Like,
Have you had the Ethiopian coffee from Hamza's?
No.
yeah, I have it at home.
It's good, huh? I
What are you talking about? No.
Like he's a Hamza's.
Not you.
I know.
You don't have a coffee shop, man. Go ahead, next question.
I would have to close it down. Hold on, anyways. In the daytime, that is. Is it permissible for a woman to get an ear piercing without her husband's permission?
A what?
Ear piercing.
Ear piercing.
Hmm.
I mean, what you gonna get it for if you're not doing it to impress him? If he doesn't like it,
It's a surprise.
well, what is what I'm saying? If he already told you he doesn't like it, why would you do that? Who are you trying to impress? See, like me, I'd be like, you know I don't like this, so who you doing that for? I don't know, man. It make me feel uncomfortable. I want, you know, the husband. I mean, that's what she's with that man. That's the man. You know, she should be dressing for him. You know, doing things that he likes. If he doesn't like all that garbage makeup, then what's she putting it on for?
Like, if working with people that you don't like already makes you stressful, so imagine living with someone that already makes you stressful. Striving Slave says, as far as ignorance goes, then will people who follow the celebrity imams blindly be excused?
Again,
As far as ignorance goes, then you saying that on purpose, didn't you?
what's that?
Oh,
No. I mean, I want to make sure I get the question before I say anything.
as far as ignorance goes, then will people who follow the celebrity imams blindly be excused?
You know, because this whole religion is against blind following of people anyway. You know, you're not following a person. You're following. No, I mean you are. I mean Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But I'm saying like you're not following a sheikh or an imam or any of these types of people. You're not supposed to follow them. You're supposed to learn from them and take from them things that are going to get you, you know, where you understand the Quran and the Sunnah. You shouldn't be blind following these people in the first place. So there's no doubt there's going to be a level, because what was the purpose of you coming to Islam if that's what you're going to do? Seriously, what's the benefit of you sitting here and saying that all of these religions, okay, what is it that made all these religions how they are now? Because Christianity, you know, when it was with the time of Isa alayhi salam, they were on the haqq. You know, obviously it wasn't Christianity, it was Islam. I'm saying they were on the truth. So what made the people over time go astray? This type of stuff, blind following. Yeah, the same thing with the Yahud. What happened with them? When you look at the time of Musa alayhi salam, and the people that they had around them that followed the Torah, is again blind following their sheikhs and their rabbis and all these types of people, and then when they started making things halal that Allah made haram and making haram what Allah made halal, then you see. That's what got the people in trouble in the first place. So if you're going to come into Islam and do the same thing, then what was the benefit of you becoming a Muslim? Like, what did you come into Islam for? What were your intentions? What were you looking for? You know, this is what makes Islam the truth, is that we don't do that. That we look for the truth. We have the Quran and the Sunnah, and it's an obligation upon every single person to go out and find that truth. To search for it to the best of their capabilities. And blind following is not searching for something to the best of your capabilities. That's giving up and let somebody else do all the work just because you think that, you know, and then on top of that, celebrity imams are not trustworthy. So you're not even choosing a trustworthy person. So if you are going to blind follow a person because you're ignorant, then go find somebody who's what? Trustworthy. You know, you're just talking about like this person who's holding hands with with the rainbow people singing Kumbaya and having people do like magic rituals on him, you know, and then all this type of stuff, and you're gonna make excuses for him? Nah, this is not blind following. You know, this is not a trustworthy person. This person is despicable, and his actions are despicable, and we're probably gonna lose another YouTube video. All right, go. By the way, if we get a strike on this channel, we won't be able to upload for 1 week. So just keep that in mind.
Striving slaves is trying to practice as much sunnah as we can, count as overdoing oneself in religion.
No. You're trying to practice the sunnah as much as you can. No. That's what you're supposed to do. Overdoing something in one's religion is that you go beyond the sunnah, or try to take on too much more than what you can. You take on what you can take on, what you can do. But I mean, the deen is yusr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the deen yusr. Now, obviously, you're not gonna have the ability to do everything. Stand up and pray like the Prophet at night, and fast like him during the day, and live your life like the Prophet. You gotta go to work, you gotta feed your family, you gotta do things, so you're not gonna have, and you don't have that type of strength that he had, and that type of yaqeen. You gotta build that. That comes with time. And do whatever you can do that's in line with the Quran and the Sunnah to the best of your capabilities. That's the wasaf. That's the middle path. And then the ghulu is that you go beyond the Sunnah. Where the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned about those 3 people. The person that said, I'm going to akumu layla wa la anam, and the other one said, ana asumul nahar wa la uftir, and the third person said, wa la atazawwaj an-nisa. So 3 people, they were, because they heard about what the Prophet ﷺ did, and they're like, well, what about us? This is the Prophet, and Allah has forgiven all the sins, well, what about us? So the first person said, I'm going to stand up at night, every night, and pray and not go to sleep. He's going to pray all night. And the other person said, I'm going to fast every day, and I'm not going to break my fast. And the third person said, what? I'm not going to marry women. I'm going to leave off marrying women. So when the Prophet ﷺ came to them, he said, Antum kultum hada. He said, you guys, you 3, you said this. And they said, Naam ya Rasulullah. He said, oh yes. He said, Amma ana, fa'akumu wa anam, wa asum wa uftir, wa tazawwaju nisa. He said, for me, he said, I stand up at night and I sleep. And he said, I fast and I break my fast. And I marry women. But he said, Man raghiba an sunnati falaysa minni. So he said, and whoever desires something other than my sunnah, then he's not from me. Man raghiba an sunnati. So that means that raghiba an shay ila shayn akhar. So they're going to extremes, and this is not from his sunnah. What they were trying to do, he's telling you, this is my sunnah. This is the way that he did things. And the man raghiba an sunnati falaysa minni, then he's not from him. Because these people, they go to extremes. And then you got these other people, like the Mr. Witchcraft and the holding hands kumbaya dude. They don't go to extremes. They go to the opposite direction. They go to tafriq, and these people go to ifrat, and then you stay in the middle. You stay in the middle. That's where the truth is. Truth is never over in extremities, and it's never over in, taking things easy, being too tolerant. Let's be tolerant. Let's hang out with all these people. Let them do a witchcraft ritual on me. Who cares? Just be tolerant. We gotta accept other. No, that's foolishness. All right, so a sharia, inshallah. قال الإمام الآجوري رحمه الله تعالى. So we're on number 19, right? We had just this one part, 19, and then the speech of Al-Ajuri, and we'll finish this chapter, inshallah. She's not going to leave you alone until you feed her, man. All right, so, number 19. وحدثنا ابن عبد الحميد أيضا. All right, قال حدثنا زهير ابن محمد قال حدثنا سليمان ابن حرب قال حدثنا حماد بن زيد عن عاصم الأحول قال أبو العالية تعلموا الإسلام فإذا تعلمتموه فلا ترغبوا عنه. Good, I don't have to explain that now. وعليكم بالصراط المستقيم فإنه الإسلام ولا تحرفوا عن الصراط يمينا ولا شمالا وعليكم بسنة نبيكم صلى الله عليه وسلم والذي عليه أصحابه. I should probably explain this little by little because this is a long narration. So here Abu Aliyah, he said, Ta'allamul Islam, the first piece of advice, because this is all the advice that he's given, right? He said, Ta'allamul Islam, so learn Islam. That's the first piece of advice he gives the people to seek knowledge, get knowledge of the deen. Ta'allamul Islam, فَإِذَا أَتَعَلَمْتُمُوهُ. He said, and once you learn the deen, فَلَا تَرَغَبُوا عَنْهُ. Don't be inclined to other things other than Islam. Focus, with knowledge of the deen. Once you've gotten a good understanding of the deen, continue to perfect that understanding. And don't go, because a lot of people, what do they do? They don't come from academic backgrounds. So they go out and they seek knowledge. And what does seeking knowledge do? It forces them to start to have this academic mind. So now he's reading books, now he's researching. Maybe he did bad in school. Maybe he didn't, but now he's like, man, if I go back, and I've seen brothers do this, and I've seen brothers have this conversation, in Damaj and other places. If I go back and I go to college and I apply the same ways of learning that we're learning here, I'll be successful in college and I can be the best student and I can be no. It's deen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put barakah in it. And you would have never done this before. So now you take what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, the blessing that He's given you, and now you want to use that blessing to do what? Get the dunya. So you saw that with Yasser al-Fadhi when he went back and then go to Yale and all this type of stuff, And you see this with individuals because they really, in their hearts, they want to go back and do what? They want the dunya. But that's what he's saying. And once you've learned the deen, then don't go searching for something else. Don't have any desire in your chest for anything else. He said, وَعَلَيْكُمْ بِالصِّرَاطِ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ. And it's upon you to follow the straight path. فَإِنَّهُ الْإِسْلَامِ. Because verily it is Islam. وَلَا تَحَرَّفُوا عَنْ الصِّرَاطِ. And don't go astray from the path. Stay on the path, stay straight. Well, he said, don't go to the right and don't go to the left. Because we talked about this, the tafriq and the ifrat. The going to the left, going to the right, where the people, they start to become too tolerant, too easygoing in the religion. And then you got the other people that go to extremes. He's saying, no, stay in the path, stay on the path, stay in the middle. He said, وَعَلَيْكُمْ بِسُنَّةِ نَبِيِّكُمْ صَلَّى اللَّهُ وسلم. And it's upon you to follow the sunnah of your Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَالَّذِي عَلَيْهِ أَصْحَابُهُ. And the sunnah that the companions were upon. Not the sunnah that your imam of the masjid saying that he's following. Not the sunnah that this guy on YouTube is saying that he's following. But you follow the sunnah that the companions followed. The way that they followed it. He said, فَإِنَّا قَدْ قَرَأْنَا الْقُرْآنِ من قبل أن يفعلوا الذي فعلوا 15 سنة. So he said, for verily that we read the Quran. And he doesn't mean reading, like we learned the Quran. Because Qur'ana here, he means what? Like ta'allamna al-Quran, like we read it, we learned it, we memorized it, we understood it, we put it into practice. He said, before these people started doing what they were doing, by 15 years, he said 15 years before they started doing what they were doing, and we had already learned this deen before they even started acting the way that they were acting. How did they translate this in the book?
Before they perpetrated this act.
Yeah, before the people started doing what they were doing. So he said 15 years before this, we were already learning the Quran, already practicing the Quran, already had this understanding before the people started going off and starting these different groups. He said, وَإِيَّاكُمْ وَهَذِهِ الْأَهْوَاءِ التي تلقي بين الناس العداوة والبغضاء. And he said, and it's upon you to stay away from these desires, the following of the desires, these desires that cause enmity and hatred to be thrown between the people. This only causes enmity and hatred between the people because why? The people follow their desires. If we all followed the truth and we were all satisfied with the truth, we would have no issues. But because the people, they go off the path, and then each little group, they want to follow whatever they want to follow, then what does it do? It starts all this enmity and hatred. Oh, he's on this, and they're saying this, and we're doing this, and they're doing that. And then what do you get? Craziness. But if we're all pleased with the truth, we have no issues. قال فحدثت به الحسن. Who's the Hassan here? الاحتمال, yeah. So he said, I spoke these words to Al-Hasan. فقال صدق ونصح. He said, he's told the truth and he's given you good advice. He said, وحدثت به حفصة بنت سيرين. And he said, and I spoke these words to Hafsa bint Sirin, the daughter of who? Muhammad Sirin. فقالت يا بني حدثت بهذا محمدا. So she said to him, she said, oh my son, out of respect. Obviously he's from her family. He said, did you say these words to Muhammad ibn Sirin? قال قلت لا. He said no. قالت فحدثه إذن. Go tell him what you heard. That is a beautiful, beautiful advice. This right here, man. Wallahi, jadirun bi'an yuhfad. Wallahi, this deserves to be memorized. This just sums up everything that we need to know. Like, wallahi, and this is the most beautiful thing about this book, is that, again, he brings the ayat from the Quran, he brings the ahadith from the Messenger, but then he brings these statements of the Salaf, of the people that put all this into practice. They put it into practice so we can see their understanding. And this is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So he said, call him Muhammad ibn al-Husayn. Who is Muhammad ibn al-Husayn? You don't want to get stung from the same hole twice, huh? Yes, this is al-Ajuri. Alamatu man arada azza wa jal bihi khayran. He said, a sign of a person that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants good for him. Suluk hada at-tariq. Is that the person takes this path, the path that was mentioned in this narration from Abu Aliyah. He said this is a sign. The person wanting and seeking out this path of Quran and Sunnah and righteousness. He said this is a sign of a person that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants what? Good for. So he said, Kitabullah Azza wa Jal, the book of Allah Azza wa Jal, wa Sunnah Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Sunnah of his messenger, the messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وسنن أصحابه رضي الله عنهم ومن تبعهم بإحسان رحمة الله تعالى عليهم. So he said, and the sunnah of his companions, and the people that followed them in ihsan, which are the tabi'un and the atba'u tabi'in, and he said, Allah have mercy on them all. وما كان عليه أئمة المسلمين في كل بلد. And what the imams of the Muslims, we're not talking about the imams of the masajid. All right, we're not talking about when it says A'immat al-Muslimin, it's not talking about what? The Imam in the masjid. We're talking about the Imams of this deen. The people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given knowledge and understanding to, and they became a khudwa, and they became something that the people look to and to get their understanding from. So he said, in every ballad, in every place, in every ballad, it could mean a country, it can mean also just a village. إلى آخر ما كان من العلماء, and to the end of wherever of the ulama of all time, مثل الأوزاعي وسفيان الثوري ومالك بن أنس والشافعي وأحمد بن حنبل وقاسم بن سلام ابن سلام ومن كان على مثل طريقه, and whoever follows the same path that they were upon. ومجانبة كل مذهب لا يذهب إليه هؤلاء العلماء, and he stays away from every madhab, every path that these ulama they were not upon. He stays away from it. And here the madhab, it does not mean like the madhab of Imam Shafi'i, the madhab of Imam, it means any madhab, any understanding, any fikr, any ideology, any path that a person takes that is not the path that they took, then khalas. And those are the subul. The subul that has the shaitan at the end of every single one calling to it. So he said, وَسَنُبَيِّن مَا يَدِينُ بِهِ إِنْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى. And he said, and we're going to make clear to you what they used to, what they took as their deen, as their way of life, as their religion, and that's going to be coming in the coming chapters, inshallah. So now he's going to start getting into the specific topics, and that was more like a general introduction, but now he's going to start, going after it, inshallah. Any more questions before we go find some food? Have you put thought to what you want to eat? No.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's right. He wants to eat Indomie. I forgot.
Indomie.
Real Indomie.
In and out.
No, he wants his Indomie.
See?
I told him, I said, think of anything that you want to eat and let me know before we leave. He said, we got some chicken at the house that's cooked. He said, I want to put it with the Indomie and make the Indomie.
With the Indomie in the In-N-Out format?
Oh yeah, put it in the In-N-Out format. But just
Because
only
they don't
eat the 4x4 and take out the Indomie.
They don't get to eat Indomie that much because it's not available here in stores. You got to order it. So, because Asa kept bothering me. He's like, I want some Indomie. So I said, okay, khalas, I haven't bought it for you guys in a long time. So we just buy it by the box. but it's just, we don't get it that much. Sardia easy. You just go to the store. They sell it in every store, but not here. Here you got to order from Amazon. No, we didn't find it. I was with Esed and Papaya Fresh. They didn't have Indomie. That's when he started. He said, "Oh, okay, order us some Indomie, order it." So I said, "Okay, inshallah." Yeah, they didn't have it. Sometimes they have it, sometimes they don't.
On Sean West.
Yeah. I guess it's on Shaw, right?
No, it's not Shaw.
It's good. Have you had their hot food?
Huh? No.
Oh yeah,
It's good.
Their little shawarma place in the back.
It's too expensive, man.
That's what I could never last night.
I can't eat this. I can't spend that amount of money for shawarma, akhi. I just can't do it. Ask them, how much is shawarma in Yemen?
It's cheap compared to here.
It's nothing, akhi. It's street food, you know what I'm saying?
I think
Like you could find change on the ground and buy shawarma in Yemen, you know?
Yeah, but here it's because it's not. I mean, you can't find it everywhere in here in America, so.
I paid like $16.
I can't pay for it.
That's the cheap one too.
Akhi, in Saudi, right?
Chicken, beef.
You go to the falafel places in Saudi. Like the falafel places are for teachers on their lunch break. You know why? Because you can get 10 riyals, 10 Saudi riyals, you can buy this huge sandwich that's gonna fill you up until like next week. Right? And they load that thing up with falafel, everything. Like, you know, it's huge, akhi. For what? It's like, it doesn't even cost 10 Saudi riyals. It costs like 7. Less than $2, akhi. Now go find a falafel. How much is a falafel sandwich gonna cost here?
$13.99.
$13.99. That's crazy, akhi. I can't do that, man. I just can't bring myself to pay that price for it.
Yeah.
It's like going over, could you imagine going overseas and going to Saudi for McDonald's and they're like, the burger's gonna be $25 because it's McDonald's. And you're like, dude, McDonald's in America is nothing. You know what I'm saying?
That's how much it is.
No, I'm just saying, example. Like, could you?
cheap and stuff. Though there's one right next to
I think McDonald's in Saudi is cheaper than McDonald's here.
Yeah, it's expensive now. It's like $15 for a stupid cheeseburger.
It's like
In a few years it will be.
for the meal, it's about, I don't know now. It's probably more expensive now, but it's probably like about 24 riyals. It was 24, like 20. You get like a double cheeseburger meal with the drink. 24 riyals is like what, $7.50.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's way cheaper.
I want to go back to
Yeah, but
Saudi.
is that doing safe? Because
I want to go back to Yemen,
is
but
that doing? Is it
Huh?
safe to eat it?
no, of course not.
Because my mom blocked it. She's like, you can't do that in the house anymore because she saw a video on my dad sent her on YouTube. So
My mom said that too.
About what?
That it wasn't safe to eat.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the worms.
I think so.
Hey, you cook it though. That's if you're eating it raw.
There's worms in it?
No, that wasn't even Indomie. That was ramen noodles. They're talking about the packaged noodles like there's like live parasites in the, but you're cooking them.
Yeah, you're bullying them.
Yeah, it's dead. The parasites are
We
dead.
used to eat them raw in school all the time.
Yeah, you parasites, dude. Yeah, you're gonna have to start taking some apple cider
I
vinegar.
ate it like that like a couple months ago.
Vaccine.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it like that, then yeah, that's not healthy. I mean, it's not healthy anyways because the seasonings are it's horrible. Number one, the oil that they use is, I can't give this advice. I'm sorry, man, because it's gonna be egregious advice
Misinformation.
and misinformation. So they use palm oil. Let's just say that. You know, palm oil is probably, you know, if you're gonna put oil in your body, don't put palm oil into your body. And then the second thing is that they use a lot of MSG. Like it's just loaded. The noodles have MSG in them, and then they put MSG in the package for the spices.
All the Chinese, Japanese people do that.
Yeah, but it's just not good. So with the Indonesians that I used to, know in Yemen, they didn't used to use the spices. They would take the noodles, and they cook the noodles, and they would do the spices themselves. They would, get some cut up cabbage, cut up carrots. They would fry it all up together, like stir fry. And then you boil the noodles first until they, like 2 or 3 minutes, till they get a little soft. Then you throw them in a wok and start frying them up with other stuff like chicken or eggs or whatever.
in Yemen, there's the Mahad, they give housing, not houses, but do they have a complex where they let students stay?
Yeah, the masjid.
Yeah, like the Mahad.
They have in Damascus you had 3 choices. If you didn't have, If you didn't have somebody if you didn't have money to buy a room or buy a house, or you didn't stay with somebody, then you either stayed in the masjid, you stayed on the masjid, you stayed under the masjid. But you can't keep your stuff in the masjid. So you have to put your stuff under or on. But you can't, like, so if you have like a trunk or bedding and all that stuff, you have to put that under the masjid. But you can sleep in the masjid at night. But you have to take all the stuff and put it downstairs, And that's horrible, man. Those kids got some insects, akhi. You put your bedding down there in the bottom of that masjid, underneath the masjid, boy, you're gonna have bed bugs for days, boy. Yeah, it's just horrible, man. You got dudes down there don't take a bath except for Friday to Friday. Oh no. We're out in the desert too, so yeah, it's no joke. I would never. Like, I slept in the masjid before, but not because I had to. I just wanted to. But I couldn't do that.
What's the best flavor of the movie?
Best flavor for Indomie.
I get the fried noodles, man. The white ones. You got the white ones, the green ones, the orange ones, but I always get the white ones because it's got the soy sauce and the onions and all that. And yeah, man. That's the one they got at the house right now. Any questions?
I want a burger.
You want your Indomie now, huh? I've hyped you up now. Talked about Indomie for the last 5 minutes.
I just want it. Striving Slave says, what do you think are the negative effects of men being raised by single mothers?
They act like women. They act like women, and then they try to compensate by trying to be more manly than a man, and then they act more like women. Yeah, this is the worst. I'm telling you, man. This society out there, I can't. Well, y'all can have the people in this society, man. Seriously, I have never seen such feminine behavior in my whole entire life. We used to laugh at the Yemenis in Yemen because how close they are, holding hands and all that. But nah, man, the Yemenis got way more rajula. As far as like manlyhood, nah, man, manliness, nah.
Walk up to them and say, mean, call it noon, all of that, and watch what they do to you.
Yeah, they want to fight you, but it's just like you just see nothing, man. You see nothing but feminine behavior. So the women are starting to act like men, and the men are starting to act like women. You don't know who's who. Like those lines are not even blurred anymore. They're like, it used to be like the lines started to become blurred, but now, you start to see these dudes, taking on the characteristics and the, just so much feminine behavior. So it's unbelievable, it's sickening, in fact. So the same thing. Like if a dude doesn't get his way, he gets angry, and wants to fight everybody. Stop acting like a girl. You're a man. You find solutions to problems. Solutions to problems, what? You get angry, throw a temper tantrum, and want to fight everybody? That's a man? That ain't a man. That's the F word, okay? F-A, and you can finish it. But that's an effeminate dude. A man is a dude that finds solutions. You got a problem, you sit down and think about it and find a solution. You don't get all emotional and yelling and screaming and that's what you see nowadays. Every time somebody gets angry, what? They want to fight. Everything. There's no solutions. There's no mind. You know what I'm saying? It's like just get emotional and what? And get violent. It's just because they're being raised by women. And not just being raised by women, but they're also a product of fornication. You have a society where the vast majority of the people nowadays are a product of what? Fornication. That's it. So what are you going to do now with all these kids running around? They're children of fornication, actually. And then on top of that, they're being raised by the woman who's a fornicator. What do you expect? It's horrible, actually. It's horrible. I thank Allah, and I tell my son all the time, I was like, Wallahi, you have a blessing. You have a blessing because I have 12 generations of my father all the way back to the first Sultan that came to America. And nobody has a child from fornication. Alhamdulillah. Because I see this, wallahi, akhi, wallahi, it's sickening. Sickening. Like, how can you deal with a child that's born like this into the society? You can't, akhi. This is, the mindset is completely different. It's completely different. Well, I hate, like, seriously, I told you, every day that I wake up here is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Like, subhanAllah. And the people see nothing wrong with this. You know, could you imagine being in the most decadent society ever known to mankind and being cool with this as a Muslim? Thinking that this is cool. Now, being here is not cool. Being here is adab, akhi. You know what I'm saying? This is not cool. And it shows that you got sickness or nifaq in your heart that you even want to be here in the first place. You know, this is like I said, you get what you got to get and get up out of here. You get out of here. You don't stay here. You stay here, akhi. It's like, seriously, there's no good here. There's no good here. And the amount of good that you might find from maybe a person teaching the Quran and the Sunnah is what? A drop in the bucket to all the evil that you're going to see on a daily basis. It's not worth it. You can go sit with the ulama overseas, akhi. You don't need to be here learning your deen. This ain't the place for that. This is a place you get money, you leave. The longer you stay here, the heart dies and dies and dies and dies until you got nothing left. Got nothing left. La ta'rif ma'ruf wa la tunkir munkar. And that's exactly what happens to the people once that you know that black spot overtakes the heart. And then it becomes that rain that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about. Huh? No, the rain.
Oh,
I'm not talking about the verb. I'm using the masdar. That sealing up of the heart. And that's what happens. Because you keep sin after sin after sin after sin after sin. It's horrible, man. It's horrible. I said, if we do stay in America, we're gonna have to stay out in the countryside somewhere, where it's like a community of brothers that just have the same mindset, and that's it. But just sit here and stay in these cities, man, y'all can have this. Wallahi, the first opportunity I have to leave, I'm out. I'm gone. The only thing keeping me here is 3 children. Because if I was alone, actually, all I had to do is get a plane ticket, I'm gone. Tawakkal ala Allah,
Yemen?
Anywhere, I don't care. Any Muslim country is better than this. Well, I go to Iraq before I stay in America. Come on, Afghanistan before I stay in America. Libya before I stay in America. Any Muslim country is better than this. Well, even the worst Muslim country, is better than any country of these kuffar. Well, it's not worth it. Syria, let's go to Syria now.
You got ice cream?
Huh?
Syrian ice cream.
What?
Syrian ice cream.
I don't know about Syrian ice cream. I just want the grape leaves, man. Stuffed grape leaves.
Golden Grill.
Any other questions? Last one before we go.
Questioner says, if Fajr comes in at 6 a.m. and I make it at 6:30, can I still pray this 2 rak'at of Sunnah?
If it's something that happened like once, but if it becomes a habit, then no. Pray the Sunnah after, as long as the sun hasn't started to come up. But if the sun started to come up, then no, this is a time of nahi. It's not permissible to pray at that time. Allah knows best.